Fats can be hidden in commonly eaten foods even if we don't add fat to them during the cooking process. Here we are showing some common foods in the U.S. diet and their corresponding saturated and total fat counts. So all of these items that are commonly eaten in the U.S. diet, we have a representation here of the total amount of fat when added together, liquid amount of fat and the solid fat, which represents a saturated fat. So these two together, when combined, total the amount of fat in each one of these items. Ranch dressing is nearly all fat calories, while cheddar cheese is over 70% calories from fat. Whole milk is almost 50% fat calories, and the term 2% milk can be misleading because it still contains over 1/3 calories from saturated fat. While most people equate meat with being a source of protein, many of the meats we eat in the U.S. contain more fat calories than protein. For example, a hot dog is almost 80% calories from fat, and a small ribeye steak, this one is 4 ounces, is 2/3 calories from fat. Also, fats are often added to processed foods to preserve their shelf life. They also contribute significantly to discretionary calories in the U.S. diet. This breakfast muffin gets nearly 40% of its calories from fat. People often add fat during the cooking process, most of which isn't needed. Butter, margarine, vegetable oil, olive oil, shortening, and pan spray or cooking spray are all sources of additional fat used when cooking. It's important to measure fats when cooking because 1 tablespoon of oil or 1 tablespoon of solid fat such as butter or margarine equals 120 calories. Non-stick spray is a great way to add flavor, color, and crispness to foods while cooking without adding much fat to the recipe. When possible, choose canola oil over corn oil or blended vegetable oils for cooking. Steaming is an easy, no-fat cooking method. There are several different ways that you can go about steaming. One is to use a steamer basket inside a pan, which we're going to do today, and also microwaving, which I'll show you in just a minute. So steaming is a great no-fat cooking method, and I have about 1/2 inch of water. I've brought that to a simmer, and I'm going to just put the steamer basket right into the pan, and I'm going to let this steam with the lid on for about 4 to 5 minutes until the broccoli is bright green but still a little bit tender. You don't want to leave the lid on too long because that's what can make it brown and slimy and not taste good. Okay, so our broccoli is bright green and tender, and before I stick my hand back into the pan, because you can get a bad steam burn, I turned the fire off and I'm just going to use a towel to lift it out carefully. And there's our beautiful steamed broccoli. So for microwave steaming, if you don't have a specific Pyrex dish that has a lid, I like to use a bowl and then use a plate as the lid. So I'm going to steam this broccoli in the microwave. This is about 1/4 cup of water, goes straight into the bowl. The broccoli florets go right into the bowl, and then again I'm using this as a lid. So much better than using saran wrap, just because it can be wasteful and you wouldn't want to eat that melty plastic for one thing. And so this is just ready to go right into the microwave. This will go in for about 3.5 minutes on my microwave, but it is very dependent on the temperature of your microwave, so you might want to experiment with that just a bit. So this is going to go right in. Okay, so this broccoli has microwaved for about 3.5 minutes, and you can see that it is steamy and bright green and nice and tender. So this is absolutely perfect.